Very cool, Sam's Club. And yeah, so you think about Sam's Club, may have got like the blue, certain font sends out blue. So the reason why I asked you that is because, as I said, we're talking about in creating a presentation, we're talking about how to actually build it so that it's appealing and so that it looks well for everybody. And so before we do, we're going to play a quick game. And then so what we'll do, and because we are doing this online, we do have a lot of content, and I wanted to encourage you, if you need to take a break, just feel free to stand up and take a break. And even though we're online, I know you guys are probably all zoomed out, not as much as our teachers, but you're definitely all zoomed out. But definitely feel free to get up and move around and stretch as needed. So today's agenda is I'm going to do a quick game with you. Then we're going to talk about just media in general, like what the color and fonts, and then we're going to get into some presentation tools that you guys may have already heard of or may not have heard of yet. And then I'm going to get into showing you just how you can do some of this stuff really quick and easy into Google Tools. So first thing is we're going to play a game. And I forgot to say this last time, so I will send you the presentation that we're doing, so don't feel free to like scribble down a million notes. You obviously can if you want to, but I will be sending it to you when we are done. And I'm recording this one as well. It'll primarily be just my face and maybe David here and there, but we'll have this available for you guys. So if you want to come back and just, there's things you want to review, you can do that. So first thing you're going to want to do is go to the Menti, and this is movie images, the trivia game, where we're going to continue on with our movie theme. And as we said last week, movies are a form of storytelling that we all love to enjoy and be a part in. And then as you're creating presentations, you're basically doing a form of storytelling of the information that you're providing to your audience. So the Menti number is 75, 69, 54, and 3. So 75, 69, 54, and 3. So you'll be shown 10 images. Guess which one it is, and you will be awesome. And I do have a prize for Azalea, and I will have a prize for the person today. I was hoping to see you guys in person. And again, thank you so much for being flexible in that as well. Thank you for putting that in. And then Kathy is going to be monitoring the chat as well for us. So any questions you have, I mean, you can feel free to just unmute and ask the question, but if you don't want to unmute, you totally can just put it in chat, and Kathy will make sure that David or I answer that.
The number again?
So 75, 69, 54, 3.
I also put that in the chat.
Should we be on the screen right now, the question 1 of 10?
Yes.
Because mine is not doing it. It has a soccer ball. It says get ready.
It might just be
the soccer ball is your quote unquote character. Like right now, I'm on my phone. I see the donut.
Okay,
and it's just
got it. Thank you.
All right. So everybody in. We're waiting for anybody else. Whoop. We lost somebody.
I know who Yvette and I know who David is.
I don't know who David is.
The donut, did he say?
Okay.
That's a donut.
But I didn't pick it.
Yeah, they just gave me a soccer ball.
Yeah, it suggested, what did I want to make my name with the donut? Homer. And I'm like, no.
There you go. All right.
Profiling.
Who's Santa?
Yes, because, okay, so I'll be honest, I'm experimenting with Mentimeter right now.
Okay.
I am trying to see like what else it does besides just like, and I don't know if you guys have used Mentimeter. Raise your hand if you've been exposed to Mentimeter before. Okay, so good. So I don't feel bad. So Mentimeter is a really cool tool that you can use for presenting, especially. And I've done this. I use it in person and I use it online. And what it is it's so Kahoot is like a game, and we're going to do it like a game fashion this morning. But what's nice about it is you can put up a question like we did this morning, like where's your favorite place to shop? And people can join in just by using that number and just type in, and it'll start putting all their answers up there. So we're doing it a little bit different this morning. We're doing it as a Kahoot type of game. But next week we'll do some of the other features of it. And it's just, again, I've done this in person and I've done it via Zoom as well. And it's just a neat tool to get your audience to engage. So now that we're all in, let's go ahead and get started. And so you're going to be shown some images, and all you have to do is choose which movie do they go with. Answer fast. So if you look at your phone or whatever your device is, what is the answer? Awesome, very good. Nobody picked Back to the Future or Escape from Witch Mountain. Let's see. Oh, look at that. And I've never used this as a game before, so this is the first time I'm seeing all this myself. And obviously I'm not able to do it by myself. I've tried to play games by myself before and they're just not as fun. So good job, Erica. Next one. Ten seconds. Very good. You guys are on it. Mr. Bond. Oh, David. Quick on the draw. What movie image is that? You guys are all getting them correct. Very good. Let's see. Oh, sorry, I pressed the button. Sorry. What is this one? A little bit more challenging. Very good. I am pleased to see those answers. Nobody got it wrong. I would be utterly crushed if anybody got that wrong. And first place now, David's still in the lead.
Ooh.
David and Erica. Question 5. What is this? Wow, you guys are great. The Incredibles it is.
Oh, that's easy.
My daughter's sitting here like, Dad, that's so easy. Erica took it back from David. Good job, good job. Question 6. Now it's going to get a little bit more challenging.
Oh.
Different types of images. Where have you seen that before? Okay, okay. Now we're getting somewhere. In first place. Oh, David. The donut has sunk.
Into my stomach.
The donut's been dipped. Next one. What is that? Where have you seen that before? Singing in the Rain. I'm so glad you picked that. I was like, I thought it was funny. It was in fact The Exorcist. That is the
They're
movie
so
poster
similar.
from the, yeah, you know, Exorcist, Singing in the Rain. It all has to do with people spinning around. So it's good. Oh, Liz has come up. It was a horror movie. That's why. Liz knows her horror movies. We've discovered that. Question 8. What is this? What is this tearjerker of a movie? Pretty good, pretty good. Titanic all the way. We showed that to our kids a couple of weeks ago, and they first thing they asked, Dad, why didn't she just move over and give him space on the raft? I said, I don't know. That's just how it goes. Kathy's come up. First place. All right, so we have 2 questions left. Question number 9. What is this? Very good. Happy to see that. Back to the Future it is. And actually, I have a couple DeLoreans in this room. All right, here we go. Our first place leader. Kathy's still in the lead. All right. Final question. Final question. What is that? Very good. E.T. Good job, everyone. Give yourselves a pat in the back. Let's see who our winners are. Who is our first, second, and third place winners? Kathy. Good job, Kathy. Well done. She knows her movie images. Fantastic. Pretty cool, and that's cool. Like I said, so that's Menti. And I'll show it to you now that we've completed the game. I'll kind of show you because this is another really cool presentation tool. I have the what I guess what you would say the full version of it. And then what you do, and I'll just add to this since we're done. What you do is you can add a type of question in here. So it can be a multiple choice, which is you can say like 3 pictures, you know, how do you feel today? And you put like 3 pictures or 3 different versions there. They can choose that. It can be a word cloud. You could say like, what is a word that describes feeling excited? Then people would put words on there and they would all populate it as a word cloud. And then, like I said, I've used this one a lot where I've asked in a presentation, you know, what would you say is a challenge of being a teacher? And then people will start to type stuff and it'll start to scroll, you know, their answers. So, so for the free, you can use this for free. I don't think there's a limit as to how many you can have, but there is a limit of how many slides you can have for the free version. I think you can just get like this stuff here for the free and maybe even some of this down here. But yeah, so it's definitely, it's really cool. It's a cool tool, Mentimeter.com. I've used it actually for a long time and I've always enjoyed it. So awesome. So let's get into our training today. And so the first thing we're going to do, as I said, is we're going to look at just colors and fonts and kind of dive into this world of color and just what does all this have to do with doing a presentation, creating a presentation, and scroll. And so the first thing we're going to do is discuss, and David, anything you want to add to this, please feel free to jump in, is bless you.
Bless you.
There's the second one. God bless you. The first thing we have is what's called the color wheel. And so how many of you, raise your hand if you've seen or heard of a color wheel before?
overstuck.
Okay. Couple of raising your hand. Okay, so basically a color wheel is exactly what it says it is. It is a wheel of color. So if you're looking to do color, this is a great way to really gauge as to see what goes together. And the general rule of thumb that I follow is colors tend to go together on the color wheel, colors that are next to each other on the left or right side, or colors that are across from each other. So if you're trying to look, if you have somebody in your world who says that doesn't match, or you tell them like, hey, I appreciate what you're trying to wear, but it doesn't match. And if they argue with you and they say, yes, it does, you can show them the color wheel and say, as you can see, based on the color wheel, you don't match. And so just looking at this image right here, you could see this person, the way it's created is there's a lot of, on this slide, there's a lot of pinks and reds and whatnot in this. And so we can see that a lot of the colors are kind of falling into these sections right here. There's some that fall in here, a lot that fall in here, and some that fall in here. And you can see what she's wearing is more of a blue and a yellow. And so if, again, using the across, going across from this one, it kind of falls in here, and going across from this one, it kind of falls in here. And so as I'm designing slides, a lot of times and I'm trying to figure out like what works well, this is kind of the thing that I have in the back of my head as I look and see what, if I have colors that are like blues and greens or whatnot, I kind of look to see what are some contrasting or what goes together parallel to each other. So here's Azalea, cool. Any questions about the color wheel? So you can Google it, color wheel. If you just Google it, you'll find tons. And then this is one that's decently detailed. There are some that get really detailed. And then basically any color you can find will be on here. Just use that mindset either across from each other or parallel left or right when you're looking for colors. All right, so next thing I want to share with you, and then this is all going to come in later as we start creating things, is what's just called HEX Codes, HEX Codes. And give me a thumbs up or a hand raised if you've ever heard of HEX Codes before. No, Kathy has. Dave's giving me a perplexed look. So what HEX codes are, and I use these all the time. When I'm creating stuff, even for this presentation, I use these all the times. And basically what they are, and I'm going to go ahead and click on this link. And again, you guys will have this. I'll email this entire thing to you so that you can click these links as well. And basically what HEX codes are is they have taken colors and just added numbers and letters to them. So if you're looking for a specific color, you can just type in the number or the letter. And so what I do when I'm working on a presentation or I'm working on graphic design stuff for CRY-ROP, these are the numbers that I have. I have numbers so that I know exactly what color I am attributing to my graphic design. And if you go to, I'm trying to think if I have it in my new office, not my new office, but if you go to one of my desks, you'll see a piece of paper that's been printed out that has all these colors on it. And then next to them are the numbers, these codes right here of each and every color of things that I use. So CRY-ROP, we have 4 specific colors that we've used in all of our marketing. And so I keep this code here so that I know the exact code that they're trying to use. So let's say I wanted to use, let's say I wanted to go down, and then this is a cool website. You can kind of look up and see what colors there are. Let's say I'm working in, CRY-ROP's got that blue. If I move my marker here, you can see that is the code 176AAB that I would use, and that's the color, that's the code of that color. And this goes across everything. So if I'm working in Google Slides and I'm choosing my color, and in fact, I might be able to do it here. And we're going to get into doing Google Slides, but I'll show you just really quick. Let's say I want to change the color. I have so many windows open right now. If I click on custom, see this right here? That's where I type in the code of what it is that of the color that I want. So let's say I want this color, it's 176 AAB. If I go here, type in 176 AAB, there's my color. And so as long as I know the codes of colors, I can keep them streamlined in everything that I do. And this works in Google Slides, it works in PowerPoint, if you're working in Adobe stuff, if you're doing like Illustrator or whatnot, if these codes are universal across all these platforms. So if you are wanting to keep specific colors of things, you need to know if you have the HEX codes, you'll be able to do that. I didn't. Okay, and then Catherine's answer stuff. Yes.
Elizabeth asked, I try to use school or ROP colors for branding. Are you saying we should not?
No, yeah, you absolutely can. Yeah. And in fact, when I'm back in the office, like I said, I have a PDF that I made of what these HEX codes are for ROP colors, and I can certainly share that with you. And honestly, if they're off like a little bit, it's not that big a deal. Like, yeah. So yeah, you absolutely can use our colors, use ROP colors in everything, and feel free to like use other colors too. Like this is a tool. So yeah, I'll definitely share that with you. So another one, so let me go back to this. So that's one way of looking up of HEX codes and just getting used to using those codes and those numbers when you're creating slides and you're figuring out what colors you want to use and stuff. And so what I do a lot of times, if you go into my office, and maybe David has seen this, I'll have Post-it notes that have just those codes written on them. Because as I'm designing something, if I want to keep like the same color, I'll just write down like what the number was. And then that way, as I'm creating my presentation, I am continuing to use the same colors all throughout it. So just a really cool way to do that. David, that's a good question. Between HTML colors and Pantone colors, I don't think there's a difference between them. There might be, but I think they're just called different things. I'd have to look it up. And so Pantone colors are again kind of another way of categorizing colors. And let me see if I can bring that website back up. I don't know if it has Pantones on it. So these are colors. So these are just like RGB is kind of like what some printers will use. CMYK, this is like another, like what your printer might use. Me personally, like I said, I just kind of really stick to just these numbers here, honestly, because they're shorter and it's easier for me to remember it that way. So
yeah, when I think of Pantone colors, I think of all the paint swatches at Lowe's or Home Depot.
Right. Yeah.
All those little cards.
Yeah, that's good. Very, very cool. So any other questions about HEX codes or whatnot? And like I said, we're going to get into that a little bit further as well. But any questions about them so far? Yeah, you guys are good. All right. So the next, that's one tool. Another tool that I use that I enjoy using is called Image Color Picker. And I'm going to click on that and show you what that does. And so this tool will show me this website. What I can do is I can see there's this picture here. If you look like where I try to point it as if you guys can see it. So where my crosshair is, if I move around this picture, it tells me all the little colors that are in there. And so what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to, you can upload an image to it. And I want to make sure I'm picking the right one because there's sometimes, the only problem with some of these free sites is that there's so many ads and stuff, you don't know what you're clicking on all the time. So I'm going to upload an image and I will choose, actually I'm not going to choose that. Let me go to my pictures. And let's say I want to make a flyer using this distance learning image, right? And actually, let me do this first. Let me show it to you this way. So I have this picture. I found this picture online and say, oh, you know, that's a really cool picture. Let's say I want to use that in a flyer. And as I'm using this picture in a flyer, I also want to make sure, like if I put fonts in there or if I do other pictures, I want to kind of keep the same color scheme. So an easy way to do that is to go to this website. And let me go back to that. Is go to this website. It's Image Color Picker. And if I click on Upload Image, and there's a Bitmoji of Hisham and Sandra. And so if I pick on the picture and click Open, it'll upload my picture. And then now it tells me the colors that are found in this picture. And it even tells me, no, it's still loading it. It even tells me what the code is of wherever I have it selected. So let's say I want to do some fonts are with this guy. I click on that and here it is. It tells me what the code is for that. If I want to click and let's say I wanted to do, you know, make some fonts that are like these colors. Again, it'll tell me, I click show more, there we go. It'll tell me the codes of what I'm clicking on. So it's a really cool tool. Like I said, if you want to get a picture and then really try to theme your flyer or your presentation to match the pictures that you're using, this is a really cool way of just being able to plop that in, look up stuff, and you can see just what these codes and these numbers are. So any questions so far?
Super cool.
Super cool. Good. Glad to hear that.
Yeah, kind of mind blown. It's beyond my capabilities, but wow.
Ah, you guys are good. So again, these are just tools that I use when I'm designing stuff, and it's just a really great way to kind of theme colors and keep things together. So that's good. So those are hex codes. So again, hex codes are lifesavers. I recommend having a post-it note around as you're designing stuff. Again, if you just write down the numbers of stuff, and then as you're typing and doing fonts or whatnot, you can kind of keep the same codes and all that stuff. So it's good. So now we're going to go into just fonts. And so fonts make or break everything for me. You can have really cool colors, you can have really cool images, but if you have fonts that are kind of funky, it might not work. And so we'll kind of get into some of the deeper ends of fonts. And so I want to show you some pictures. And let's show you back in. And what do you see here? Other than I just got an email from Shutterstock. What 3 images do you see here? Anybody, feel free to unmute, chime in.
Forrest Gump.
Uh-huh.
Free Willy.
Uh-huh.
Willie.
And the one in the middle.
Rain Man.
Yay, Rain Man. Love Rain Man.
I'd
So
love to drive on the driveway on Sunday.
So how do, like, if we just saw the picture on the left, we know it's Forrest Gump, but we wouldn't know that had we not seen the movie. If somebody just showed us the picture, we'd be like, oh, it's Tom Hanks sitting on a bench. Or the one on the far right, we'd see, oh, there's a whale jumping over some kid. That's kind of weird. But we know these are from movies, but if these were just pictures that somebody showed us, we would think, oh, that's weird. But these are just pictures, but the second we add fonts to them, they tell us what these movies are. So as you can see, the Forrest Gump picture is just Tom Hanks sitting on a bench. But then when we add the fonts in, and it's a specific font that they've used for that, as you can see, so another, and I didn't put this in the slide, another rule of thumb is generally when you're creating presentations and stuff, you really don't want to go beyond using 2 or 3 different types of fonts. I generally try to stick to no more than 3 in a presentation, because what happens is people, when you start seeing a whole lot of fonts and stuff, and they're all different types and sizes and shapes and whatnot, or I should say different types, people can start feeling cluttered. And so when you're working with fonts, like I said, generally I stick to like 2 or 3. So you can see here, Tom Hanks's Forrest Gump July 6th is all one font. sorry, this is a grainy image of it, but this one says the world will never be the same once you've seen it through the eyes of Forrest Gump. That is a different font as well. And then down here, the actors and all that kind of stuff, the details of the movie is a different font as well. So generally they will stick to 3 fonts. And then now looking at Rain Man, we can see the same thing. Dustin Hoffman, Tom Cruise, Rain Man, they're all the same font. And they even went as far as in the details, like the United Artists and all that kind of stuff, they're using the same font in there as well. So as you can see, like you really want to stick to just 1 or 2, maybe 3 fonts at the most. And then same with Free Willy, you'll see there's a font here. And honestly, if I were designing this poster, I would have slapped the hand of this person because you can barely see these words over those dark skies. But I don't know who got away with that. So what you want to think of when you're designing things is what's going to be the easiest for my audience to read. And what's easiest for them is to have some fonts that are engaging, but you don't want to have too many of them. And so, and a lot of times the fonts that you use really attribute to the story that's being told. So if you think of, I'm trying to think of a movie that has fonts that have like bullet holes in them. If you were to put that font that has a bunch of bullet holes on the Free Willy font, you would say, oh no, somebody's going to shoot that whale. And so, so again, the fonts kind of tell the story of that image. And so again, I want to show you some tools for that. So one of the things I like is a website called What My Fonts, and then they have a section on there called What the Font. And actually, I'll go to just my font so you guys see that first. Let's see if it'll let me do that. My internet's starting to lag a little bit because we've got about 1,000 people online in our house right now. So this is My Fonts. And they just have, you know, like if you're looking for ideas for fonts and stuff, these are just some ideas of what they have. I do it all the time when I'm designing flyers or whatnot for CRY-ROP. A lot of times I will go online and just see if I can like look at other people's stuff to kind of get me some ideas. And so this is a cool website that just has like, you can see different things and see different ideas that people have. But what I really like is clicking on their What the Font page. And so what this does is you can upload a picture and it's going to tell you what font that is. So right now we're going to go back to my pictures. I'm going to pick this Back to the Future picture and open it. It's checking out. It's checking out my picture and it recognizes that this is a font there. So then I click on next. It's thinking about it. And then now it shows me, here's all these fonts that fit that picture that you inserted. And so some of them are free. A lot of them on here are expensive. As you can see, they're $19, $30. I will never pay that. But it kind of gives me an idea as to what the font is that's being used for that picture. If I'm kind of looking to, if I want to mimic something that's close to it. But what I love about it is it gives me the ideas. What I don't like about it is it wants to charge me, and I'm kind of going fast, it wants to charge me $50 to buy this. That's crazy talk to me. So what I do instead is I go to this website, which is called 1001 Free Fonts. And if you click on it, there you go, Kathy. Here's your Disney font. And these are absolutely free. I love them. And you kind of have to do some digging around, but let's say I'm on my campus and it is getting close to, I don't know, Halloween or whatnot. Oh, I know it's a sore spot for some people right now. But let's say it's close to Halloween. I'm on my campus. I want to create a flyer or something or a presentation that has some sort of Halloween fonts on it. I can click on Halloween. And you can see there's a whole bunch of fonts in here that you can use that have, there's your Nightmare Before Christmas font that you can use that have some of a Halloween type feel to it. So here's the thing with these fonts is these fonts, you have to download them to your computer. So you can so unfortunately they won't work with anything that's online. Like they won't work with like a Google Slides or a Prezi or whatnot. But if you're creating something in Word or in PowerPoint, these fonts will work. And I'll kind of show you how it works. So let's say I wanted to do this Nightmare Before Christmas font. I click on download. It's downloading it to my computer. It's done, so I'm going to open it. I need to move Zoom. Hold on. And then now if I double click it, it shows me the font, and I just click on install. Okay, so now it's installed. So now if I open up, let's say PowerPoint, it's opening up over here. Come here, PowerPoint. If I open up PowerPoint, and we'll write, good morning. Bless you. So, devoid. So now I can go and I can see my font. Actually, I forgot what the name of it was. It was called, okay, Night Before Christmas. So I go to my ends. And there it is. So again, absolutely free font. All you gotta do is go to the website, download it. And like I said, there's 1,000 of them that you can use if you wanted to, let's say you want to type, I type in Disney, here's that Walt sort of style to it. If I wanted to look, oh, here's even a Disney category. Here's a Monsters Inc. font, Bugs Life, Incredibles, Nemo. Yes.
So you said we could utilize it in what two forms? You said
so
Word.
you can't utilize these if they're online, but if you can download them to your computer, then you can use them for anything that your computer will use. So that would be like PowerPoint, Microsoft Word, anything that your computer will use will have these. If you're working on Adobe stuff, if you're using like Photoshop or whatnot, those fonts will be there as well. So if you download it to your computer and the program is on your computer, they will work in that as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. There's a Toy Story one. So yeah, so I use these a lot as well. IT doesn't like me sometimes because I will download a font and then I'll say, hey, can you guys give me permission to install it? And then I'll come to my office and I have to put in a work order, and Rudy will, let me put one of them in. So, but yeah, it's really cool. It's awesome. Just a really great website. So again, that's 1,001 free fonts. Any other questions so far? Good. All right. So now, where are we at? We're about halfway there. Okay, cool. So we're on a schedule. So a lot of times, as I was creating Google Slides and as I was creating stuff, presentations and stuff, I figured out that takes a lot of time to do. And you guys are probably, if you've created presentations in the past, you're trying to put some slides together, it takes some time to do. And so what I've discovered, as it seems like as soon as COVID happened, these tools were discovered, and they have saved my life, hours of my life in creating things. And so they're called Slidesgo, SlidesCarnival. Both of them are pretty similar. And what they are is they have free presentation templates that are already built, and all you need to do is just put in your information. This very slide presentation you're seeing, I stole from Slidesgo. I didn't create it. I just downloaded it and then started plugging my own information in. So let's go to Slidesgo. And again, they have tons and tons and tons of free slides that you can download. In fact, you've probably even seen this one before once or twice. A lot of teachers are using that one. And you can look at it. You can see, you know, it'll give you an idea of what they are. And as you're creating a presentation, it's just a really cool tool to download these presentations. We're gonna go ahead and do that. So, move Zoom again. So let's say I wanted to create an education presentation. And these are all free templates that I can download. And I could even sort, let's say I wanted to choose something that was orange. So here are presentations that have more of an orange theme to them. Let's see here. Elementary school newsletter, diversity. And then let's try typing in. We'll try typing in middle school just to see what comes up. So there's a few of them here. It's math stuff, back to school stuff. Let's look at this back to school one. So I can preview the presentation just by clicking through the slides, see what they have. Let's say I like this one. I'm like, okay, that's a cool presentation. I'm gonna go ahead and download it. And so I click on it and it gives me an option. I can either, if I'm logged into my Google Drive, if I click on it, it'll automatically go to my Google Drive, or I can actually download the file. We're competing. I can actually download the file for PowerPoint. She's talking about dogs. All right, so I'll show you both of them. So we'll start with the PowerPoint. If I click on download PowerPoint, it'll take a minute. And as you can see, it automatically started downloading the PowerPoint file of that slide. So I go ahead and click open. And there it is. So I just click on enable editing, and then now this presentation is here for me to use. And if I wanted to change it, instead of saying back to school, let's say we'll change it to back to shopping. I can just start going in and just editing the information. And what's really nice about these is that every single one of them are exactly the same, to where it lays out a template for you of what it is. So it has your agenda, and then it says like, okay, you can do an about us, you can do what sets us apart, demographics. You don't have to follow this. It just kind of gives you a template of what to follow, some goals and strategies. And then what I like about these is that at the very end, let's see where they're at. They will give you the images that, and here's the hex codes. It tells you where these are the codes that are being used in the colors of it. And it'll tell you, it'll give you some icons that you can use. You can copy and paste them. And they just load you all this stuff absolutely for free. And I personally end up doing, I'm not gonna say that, I end up doing a lot of work in Google Slides, because then I don't have to worry about transferring PowerPoint stuff like on files and emailing it to myself and I just do it in Google Slides. And so if I click on use Google Slides, again, it'll ask me, do I want to make a copy of it? I will say yes. And it's going to make a copy of this into my Google Drive, and then I can start working in it right away. So there we go. The exact same thing, just now it's in Google Slides, and I can go through and then start editing this template so that I don't have to do all this work. It's just there, and I just have to change the information, change the fonts, change, whatever it may be, whatever you've planned out to say. Now I can just start changing all of that. So, any questions so far? Thumbs up. Thank you, Sherry. And then to show you how much of a cheat that I am, here's our movie one. All I had to do was just download it and then just start messing around with it. So, because I don't have time to sit and make this thing from scratch, it would take me forever. So and then here's what I was saying. So it'll give you a lot of this graphics and stuff, and then all you have to do is just change it to your information. So so that's Slidesgo. We'll look at the other one, which is SlidesCarnival. And as I said, it's almost an identical. Maybe I might have messed up this one.
Chris, they're both.
Yes.
Are they both free?
They are both free.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
David suggested sharing this at tip.
Say what?
David suggested sharing this.
Oh yeah,
Sharing-
yeah.
That'd
That's
be
a
great.
good. Yeah, that's a good idea. I'll definitely put that in there. So SlidesCarnival, it's almost literally a mirror identical thing of Slidesgo. So it's the very same thing, almost so much so that I think they're both the same person. They just are trying to, I don't know why.
No, it's just like.
So same thing, you can search by color. You can search by creative, inspirational, and then yeah, you just type in what you're looking for and they'll have tons of stuff. And so let's say, so I did a presentation. I'm in class right now and I had to take a education law class and I do a presentation. As you can see, I started searching for things that were like presidential-esque. For my law presentation I did, I don't remember which one I used. And you probably have even seen this one before too. And so, and then my teacher was like, wow, you know, these look really good. And I told him, I'm like, I just downloaded off the internet. I didn't put that much work into it. But people will be impressed, you know, with all of it. It's just a free, again, just free stuff that you can download and use. So definitely use them. All right. So does anybody need to take a 5-minute break? We're about halfway through. Okay, let's take 5 minutes. I know I told you we'll just kind of let you take 5 minutes, but I need to get this one repositioned. So let's take a 5-minute break. We'll meet back here at 10:05 before we get it. Awesome. So let me just recap our first hour. So basically we talked about the color wheel, and then Norma, this is all being recorded and I'm going to send you guys all this later. So if you want to go back and review it, you will be able to. And we talked about the color wheel. We talked about fonts. We looked at movie posters with and without the fonts. And then I just showed you guys these two things, which is Slidesgo and SlidesCarnival. These are free templates that you can download. If you're looking for presentation templates, these are already built and all you have to do is go to the website and then you can download them into PowerPoint or they'll make a copy of it to your Google Drive and then you just continue to work on. So good stuff so far. So for this last half, and this is where I suggested, and if you can't do it, it's not a big deal, but I suggested if you have a second device that you want to kind of play around while I'm showing you some things in Google Slides, I'm gonna go to the next one. You can certainly do that. And like I said, if not, if you just have your Zoom and it's kind of your primary device right now, not a big deal. Like I said, you can certainly try these things out later. So raise your hand if you do have done a decent amount of stuff in Google Slides the last few months. Most of you are raising your hands. Yeah. So what I wanted to do is kind of go through Google Slides and kind of show you some things you can do in it and I'm moving things around. Things you can do in it so that as you're working, hopefully these are some things that will make life a little bit easier for you. And so the first thing I'm going to do is open a brand new Google Slide. And again, if you're, change to that. If you're following along with me, you can do some of this as we're doing it together. So I'm going to make a new Google Slide. And typically when you open Google Slides, this is what you have, is you have a blank template. If you're not downloading one of the templates I just showed you and you're starting from scratch, this is where you will kind of start. And so I'm trying to find a good place to put you guys. You guys can't see yourselves, but I like seeing people. I'm just trying to figure out where to put you so I can see both. All right, so So Google has some templates that they've already created. These are standard with every single Google slide you create. You've probably used some of them, and they're nice. They're nice to have. They're nice to just be able to click and then start plugging away. And the information I'm going to show you, I'll go back to that. The information I'm going to show you isn't necessarily in creating the presentation. It's going to be showing you like how to put the presentation kind of together. So a lot of people like to have some sort of background, some sort of color. And there's a few ways that you can go about adding a colored background to this. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to color, or I'm going to go to background, click on it, and I can either choose an image or I can choose a color. I'll start with just choosing a color. So let's say I wanted to have, let's say I am working at Grand Terrace High School, and I want to use their like teal color that they use. So I can click on that and then click done. I'm sorry. And then click add to theme. And then if I click on add to theme, it will make it so that anytime I make a new slide, that color will just automatically be in there. And if I'm going way too fast, please feel free to like ask me to show something again. So this is how I choose the color. Let's say though, I wanted to use one of the hex codes that we discussed earlier. So I would click on add a custom color. And as I said, you can just type in the number up there. And my second grade, my little 7-year-old sitting next to me doing school. All right. Let's see. I'm just trying to type in. I don't even know that these are real codes. I'm just, all right, there we go. There we go. Okay, so let's say I wanted, that's the code I type in, and then I click OK, and then now it'll make it that color. If I click add a theme, it'll make it so that every time I do a new slide, that color will be there. But we can even make this a little bit more fancy, and I'm gonna get rid of these just for now. And we can even add to this a gradient. Let's see. We can add to this a gradient, and what a gradient is a gradient is where you take one color and it kind of blends it into another color. And so again, Google has some of these already set up. So if I click on that one there, click done, as you can see, it's kind of already set up. It goes from the dark to the lighter yellow. Let's say I want to make my own gradient. What I would do is add custom. And this is where it gets a little bit more complicated, but you can see these are the preset colors that Google has. So the first color is yellow. Let's say I want to change that to blue. And then instead of this dark brown that they have, I click on it and let's say I want to change it to, I don't know, we'll go back to we'll do like purple or something. And then click OK. And you can see it changed it to being that going from a dark or from purple up to a lighter blue. And let's say I want to change, let me try to do this. I don't want to add, all right, there we go. How's that? All right. I can also change the direction that this is done. If I want to do, right now it's doing a 90-degree angle. If I want to do like a 45-degree angle, so it goes like from right to left, or I can do this one that's diagonal. You know, you can change that. Yes.
Is it almost lunch?
It is not almost lunch.
How much are we doing?
About an hour. Okay, do your class. And then you can change it to where right now it's linear. You can also change it to where it's radial, which means it just kind of goes in a circle. And then adding stops is meaning you're just adding more colors in. So I can add, let's say I want to add this. I don't want to do something really weird like yellow in here. And as I move this slider around, it'll kind of change that. You know, you can see how it's going back and forth. So that's that.
Wait, how'd you do that? Add in that yellow again.
Sure. So go background. So when I'm in here to customizing my grading, I just click on add. And then it's already selected. I just need to pick the color I want to put in there. So I can click that. And then it'll add. And I can keep adding onto it. Let's say I want to add another one. I want to make this one that blue. Now this looks like a Texas restaurant or something. So you can keep adding on, and then as you add, you can kind of start moving these things around and, you know, like that, or you can remove them. Cool. All right. But I'm canceling it just so we see that. So that's how you would add in color. But a lot of times we like to use images as backgrounds. And so I'm gonna show you that as well. So you can go to background, and instead of choosing a color, I can choose an image. And I can do a couple things. I can either take a picture with my camera, which I'm not gonna do, or I can upload something, or I can do a Google image search. So first I'm gonna do upload. So if I go browse, and let's say I pick this distance learning picture that we have, it'll upload it. And then now that is my theme for my presentation. So if you made like a flyer or something and you wanted to use that flyer as like your background image for your whole presentation, that is how you can do it. But let's say you want to use a background, but you didn't want to use a picture that you made, you wanted to search for one. So you can go to background and then click on Google image search. This one I love, I use it often. And you can even just type in backgrounds and it'll give you Google will go through and it'll search for just backgrounds like crazy. Let's say I wanted to use, I don't know, we'll do something with books. Books are cool. And there we go. So now that book background is now my background for my presentation. And I can continue to search for anything really. Let's say I'm doing a presentation for auto shop, right? I have some kids that are coming in, you know, they're auto kids and I want to do something with cars. So I just type in cars and you can see there's a whole bunch of stuff here. If I do cars background, I'm curious to see what shows up. Oh, there you go. So different stuff. Let's say this one's cool. Click insert. Give it a minute. Done. So now that picture is the background of my presentation. And then as I continue to go on, it'll be there. So that is just a great way to make easy backgrounds for your Google presentations. And again, colors, you can choose the images. And I'm just gonna undo this. So I get back to my plain white screen. I did a lot. There we go. All right. Any questions so far? Like I said, I'm trying not to move too fast, but. So another thing we can do is, let's say we like to, let's say we want to use images or use pictures in our presentation. In fact, what I will make this a color again. We'll just go with yellow. All right, so I want to use, I'm doing a presentation on auto. I'm teaching my auto kids how to do interviews, and I want to put in a picture of a car. So there's a couple ways I can do it. If I go to new, cool car pictures, go to images, and I say That's a cool car. I think it's a cool car because it's made out of Legos. And I want to use this picture for my presentation. So what I would do is right click, copy the image, go back here and paste it. And there we go. This is a lot of times, this is what we do is we find a picture, we copy and we paste it in. And this works really well, but there's a few things that you can do with it. Let's say I didn't want to have just a square. I didn't want to have my picture just being the square picture that I copied. What I can do is I can crop it. And the way I would do that is by clicking on this tool right here called crop. And if I click it, then I can make it smaller. You know, let's say I want just the car. I didn't want all the people around.
Oh, sorry.
And then now I have just the car. But let's say even then, I don't want a square. I want it to look more of like a curve, kind of like a bubble shape. And what I can do is I can go up here to crop again, and then just click on this little triangle here that says mask image. And if you do that and go to shapes, it'll put that image inside one of these shapes. And let's say I want to do a circle. So now it moved it, because the picture was a rectangle, it put it more of like an oval. As you can see, it'll change the shape of it. So it kind of gives it some more style. Let me back up a little bit. And there's other shapes I can do. Thought there was arrows. Oh, here it is, the star. So there's a star. I can put it in the star as well. And so any picture that I copy in there will put it inside one of those shapes. If I just choose this mask image and then pick a shape, any picture I put in will be inside one of these shapes, which works really well. That's one way of going about putting in pictures into here. Another way you can do it is just do it directly in Google itself. And so what I can do is go to Insert Image. Let me move you guys again. And I can choose a couple things. Same thing, I can upload a picture from my computer. I can search the internet. What I will do is search the internet, since that's a little bit quicker. And what it will do is it'll automatically just open up Google Images, and I'll just type for anything. Car, cool car picture. And it'll start. And then that way I can just find images right then and there. And so if I pick that picture, click insert, it'll do the same thing. So I can just type, I just throw the pictures in right here. I don't have to leave the presentation. I can just do it then and there. Now, a lot of times what people will do when they're putting in pictures of cars is they will put in, let's type a car clip art. Is they'll find a car picture, or they'll find a picture and they'll insert it. Oh, that didn't have it. And they'll usually have some, like a white square around it. How many of you have ever had or seen, seen a presentation that they have pictures in there with that white square around it, around the picture? Raise a hand, a couple of you. This might have it. I'm trying to find one that has that white square so you can see what I'm talking about. So, had an error. It's hard to tell. Maybe go back to cars. This one might have it. Nope, still didn't do it. Anyway, well, you've all seen it. So basically what that is that is just the type of image that it is. It has that white square. Actually, I might be able to do it easier here. Bless you. This will work. This should work. All right, there we go. There it is. All right, so a lot of times we see this with our pictures is we see that it's got this white square. That's a style. That's a certain picture. Usually they're JPEGs is what they're called, JPGs. And when you copy and paste them, it'll have the white square around it because what it does is it flattens the picture. Whatever it was made in, it just kind of flattened it to where the white square is around it. So anyway, so a lot of times we see this. So I'm going to show you a quick way to avoid having that. And the way you can do that is you can search for whatever it may be. So we'll say cool car. And if you just add the words transparent background, then all of these pictures should show up and they do not have that white square. So we'll do, and you guys saw me do this already a few times. But if I pick that car and I pick the word transparent background, then my image will show up and it does not have the white square around it. I can just throw the picture in, and we can do this with anything. We'll do students learning transparent background. See what shows up. So these kind of show up. We'll pick this guy since he kind of looks like me. See what it does. Yeah, there he is. Looks like me at the end of the week. And then now as you add the word transparent background to your search in here, most of the time it'll search for images that do not have the white square around it. And then that way you can just use the image and use the background as well. So any questions so far on that stuff? No, you guys are good so far. Awesome. So we covered backgrounds, we covered colors, we covered putting in pictures, how to mask pictures. And so the last part, the last 30 minutes before we conclude, I wanted to show you fonts in Google Slides. And so a lot of you know how to use fonts already. I'm going to get rid of this so I have a blank page here. If I want to insert text into my Google slide, I would click on the letter T, put a square, and then I can just start typing. Today is going to be a great day because we are going to. All right, so here's my text. And as you know, if you take this square and if you make it smaller, it'll start wrapping the text down. You can move it around, and let's say I want to make it bigger. If you guys, and this might be some basic stuff you guys already know. If I want to make the font bigger, I just click here, and I can make it bigger as well. And if I want to make it centered, I would make it centered. And if I want to have this text be in the middle of the square, because right now it's kind of at the top, I can click here and it'll put it in the middle of the square that way. And one thing I really like about Google that they do is as you're moving things around, it'll show you what the spacing is between everything. So if I click this and drag this around, you see those red lines? Those red lines are showing me it's in the center of that slide now. So let's say I'm here, I want my text to be here, but I want my text to be in the center of the slide. If I drag down, that red line will show up, and that now tells me that that square is now in the center of the slide. Or if I want it here, but I want to be vertical, I drag over. Again, that red line shows up. That's showing me that that's now in the center of the slide. The other thing I like that it does is I'll insert a picture again really quick. Let's see what this does. put this picture in. All right. And so I'll move this. Now I can see the red line showed up. It's in the middle of the slide. And let's say I want this to be spaced about the same. I can click that there. And it'll start showing me how things line up. Actually, I'm gonna make this a little bit smaller so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Move that over. And let's say I want to have another picture in between this one and my text. So I'm going to insert another picture. We'll pick this castle. There we go. I'll make it a little bit smaller. And here, do you see how these blue lines showed up? Those blue lines are showing me that is now in between my text, and I'm pointing as if you guys can see. Those blue lines are showing me that when I put that picture there, it's going to be in between my text and in between my picture. And if I move it up to the top, it shows me now the red line shows up. It's showing me that will now be even with the other picture. So as you're moving things around in Google, those lines and colored lines show up to kind of share or help you with placing. If I want to make this picture in the corner there, if I wanted to put that there, those red lines are showing me now that if I move that picture there, it's going to be even with the top picture on the right, and it's even with the text box at the bottom. And I'll make this smaller, kind of squish it down a little bit. Oops. There we go. And again, I'll kind of move it over here. If I put it there, it's showing me it's even with the picture on the top. But if I even scooch down a little bit, it'll show me that's the center of it. So use those lines as you're placing things, because they're telling you how to map out your slides, and they're really trying to help you with the placing of putting things in your slides. And so now I'm going to show you some things we can do with the fonts. I'm going to make my text box a little bit bigger. And now it's in the center. Scoot it, and now it's in the center. Now I know this slide is perfectly in the center. And so we looked at these. You can change the size. You can change the color of the text, which this is probably stuff you might already know by just doing that there. And you can even highlight some text. Let's say I wanted to highlight just the word Disneyland. I would click on the highlight color, and we're going to make it red. This is going to be really ugly, but you get the idea. So today it's going to be great because we're going to Disneyland. Now Disneyland's highlighted in red. And I'm going to undo these because it's making my eyes burn. So other things you can do is you can change the font. And these are some fonts that are already in Google Slides, but you can even add more fonts to yours. And the way you do that is you click on more fonts at the top. And then now Google will show you all the fonts that are available in Google. And if you want to add them to your Google slide, you just click on it and it'll be there. So let's say I wanted to add, since we're talking about Disneyland, I want to find a font. I want to find a font that is close to Disneyland. There's not going to be a specific Disney font, but as you can see, some of these are already used. Let's go with this Gotchi Hand one. So if I click on it, and then click OK, now that has changed my font to be there. So anytime I want to add a font to Google, I just click on more fonts, and then as soon as I click it, and then click OK, they will now populate into as long as I'm signed in, they will populate into my drive. And as I'm creating stuff, let's say, again, we're going back to we're doing a presentation for middle schoolers on how to get a job. But let's say I want to do like a superhero. Going to insert that. Okay, I put this guy over here, which I don't know if that guy's from The Simpsons or not, but now he's in the center. And now let's say I wanted to add a text. Getting a job is cool. Check out CRY-ROP. And then I can add, I might already have it added, a font that looks like a superhero type font. Oh, and I already have it. It's already there. It's called Bangers. I use it a lot if I want to do like comic booky things. And then so now it's there. Oh, I forgot to do the P. Okay, you just type it in. And there you go. And so you can start adding in, let me make that smaller. You can start making your slides just by using some of these things. You can put in the pictures, you can change the font of what you want to do. Again, as we said before, usually the rule of thumb is you don't want to use more than 3 fonts. In a given presentation, try to stick to no more than 3. So that way you're not overwhelming your audience with them. And some things we can do with our fonts as well is we can change the spacing of our text. And so the way you do that is you go up here to line spacing. And if right now it's set on single space, I can do 1.5. So they're 1.5 spaced, or I can even do double space it. So just like I were typing in Word, it'll double space, single space. And sometimes as I'm doing graphic design, I might want to make this a subtitle of this. So what I can do is highlight that, make it a little bit smaller. And if I go to single space, that looks good, but me personally, I want to make it even a little bit closer. So what I can do is go up here and click on custom spacing, and anything that's less than the number 1 will bring them closer together. So if I do like 0.5, click apply, squishes them really close together. That's a little bit too close. I can go back to custom spacing. Usually I do like a 0.8. That's even a little bit too far. We'll try like a 0.7. And it'll space them together like that. And then I can even go in and change the colors. I can do like a blue here. And because my guy is red, I can pick the red. And as you can see, just by messing around with the fonts, messing around with just changing the colors or even trying to match the colors to your picture, you start to have a slide that looks good, that looks appealing to your audience. Some other things you can do with your fonts is you can add shadow drops to them. And so the way you would do that is go to Format Options. And you can put a shadow drop on your font. As you can see, it did it there. If I unclick it, it comes off. If I click it, it goes back on. And same, I can do a reflection on it as well. Click on reflection. You can't see it really well. Let's see. It's not showing that one. We're like, okay, let me try it on this guy. This guy might do it better. So I do a reflection on him. You can't see it. Let me make him smaller. There we go. So as you can see, there's a reflection on him now. I can make the reflection bigger. I can make it farther apart, put it really close, and check that. So anything that you put in, you can do that with. And then lastly, let me show you this last thing before we start to wrap up, is you can also change the text box color. And so the way you would do that is just by clicking here. If I want to fill this, let's say I wanted to make it, there's that purple there. Let's say I wanted to make my text box the same color as his glove. I just click on that purple. Oh, there's my reflection. All right, hold on. Take that off. There we go. All right. So I want to make it the same color as his glove. I would do that. And then now my text box itself is that color, and I can make it smaller. And this is really hard to read, so I would probably change these. Using my color wheel, I would change these to like, change the font to white. And then change that. Instead of a red, I might go, because there's yellow in there, I would go with yellow, like that. So that's doing the text box. If I want stuff again to be aligned kind of in the middle of this text box, I would go center it that way, put it in the middle. And and there you go. You start to have some interesting things. It starts to look really good with your presentation. I can even add a border to the text box by clicking border color, and I want to do my red. And you can barely see it. So if I click to the border weight next to it, it'll make it bigger. And this whole section right here is all about changing the colors and changing the style of your text box. So you have, this is the color of the text box. This is the color of the line around it. This is how thick the line is. And you can even change to what type of line there is. So I can do dots. You can see it. Or I can do a dash, then a dot. And it just is a neat way to kind of make it fancy. I'll go back to a straight line, maybe a bit smaller. Awesome. All right, so I just showed you like a whole mess of stuff, so I have no doubt you're probably a little overwhelmed. Any questions about working in Google Slide stuff? No, I got some head shakes. I see some of you are working along while I'm doing this, and like I said, I apologize. I'm kind of going maybe going a little bit fast.
I think it's good to, try things out. If you don't like it, you undo immediately. And as you've seen, Chris has done different lines, different colors, and he's made choices, then he's switched back.
Sorry, hold on real quick, David. I think my headphones are going out. Okay, say that again.
That you've shown trial and error, and if you try something out and you don't like it, you undo it.
Yes. Yeah, if you don't like it, yeah, definitely just try it out. Try what works, what doesn't work. See what works.
Hey, I have a question. So for our how-to presentation, are we gonna need to like create a PowerPoint and have slides, or is that like up to us?
Yeah, so I would like for you guys to have, so that's a great segue. So if there's not any other questions about this, let me get back to, and what it is it's a site that just has a ton of information. It's geared towards teachers, but of course you guys have complete access to it as well. If you wanted to get to some of the forms a little bit quickly, there's work orders in here. There are topic calendars, stuff, lesson plan templates, mileage stuff, all these like forms are in here. Distance learning resources. We've been populating this like crazy since July of just stuff that, and actually, no, this is a great tool. So how many of you have heard of, or raise your hand if you've heard of Bitmoji Classrooms that people have been using? A few of you have, all right. So my wife found this Tuesday, I think. And so it's a Bitmoji Classroom template that this lady has made, tons and tons of templates. And then I'll show you what this is. Let's do.
Actually, Chris, I think you've all created them, haven't you?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Okay.
Some of us
So
have.
Some of us have, though.
Yeah. I know what totally understand the not yet. My list.
exactly. So those of you who don't know first I have to tell you what a Bitmoji is. And what a Bitmoji is it's a website you go to. I should already be logged in. I'm not. So you download Bitmoji on your phone, and you can create a character of yourself, essentially is what it is. And is this mine? Oh yeah, that's mine. Okay, cool. So now that I'm logged in, it'll do it. Let me go back to here. See, I didn't even intend to do this, but here we are. So I downloaded Bitmoji on my phone, and then once I get into it in the app, I can create a character of myself, and I can put what I look like. I can pick my clothes, all that sort of stuff. It's fun. So then, as I'm creating slides, I can download an extension, and I can type in, let's say I type in movies, and it has all these preset images of the Bitmoji I create of myself doing things. So if I like this one here, I can just drag it in, and just like a Google picture, it shows up. And then now, oh, you know what, David? I'm still wearing the Star Wars costume on mine. So now I can just start adding these in. And so you kind of have to know what a Bitmoji is to know the next part. I want to say thank you. You know, I can go to the very end. A lot of people use them here. If I go say thank you. Can drag that in there. And I can add this to my slide. And there you go. So what a Bitmoji Classroom is it is a picture. It's just a Google slide that has a lot of pictures that you can click on, and it takes you to different stuff. And so let's try this superhero one. I've not used it yet. I click on it. It asks if I wanted to make a copy of it to my Google slide. I'll say sure. It's making a copy. So here it is. So this lady has made tons of these in all her spare time. That all you have to do is just click on them, and then they're automatically made. So if you guys are supposed to make one for CRY-ROP, don't tell anybody, but totally just use one of these, and then done. Mark it off your list. So after you make one, so after it's been made, these are just a bunch of pictures, but you start adding in links to them. So I'm gonna add my Bitmoji to it. And I'm gonna say superhero. Or let's do this. I'll do one of me standing. It doesn't have. I'll just do this one.
If you just type pose, you should get multiple options for sitting and standing.
There we go. Perfect. All right. So if I just take that, drag it in, and then now I'm inside here. And all of these things are automatically made. I don't know if she has the links already. She doesn't. So you can just start clicking on these things and you can add links. So let's say I wanted to, on this Captain America pillow, I'm gonna go to YouTube, and we'll do, we'll type like Captain America trailer. And then here's the trailer for this movie. I'm going to click on share, copy the link. And if I go back to this Captain America pillow, and if I click on insert link, now I just paste it and then apply. So now as my students, if they're looking at my Bitmoji Classroom, And if I added stuff that they can click on all of here, if they click on this Captain America, see how it's got the little hand that shows up? If they click on that Captain America pillow, it takes them to the trailer of the Captain America movie. And so teachers are using these, and what they're doing is they might put like assignments here, or they might put a poster of like classroom rules. They click on it, it takes you to another page that has like in their Google Classroom that has the rules, or they might put like assignments and stuff in here. Basically, it's just another way for teachers. They're working on how to make this an interactive experience for students. Wendy has used this to where if they click, like she might have a Disneyland picture. If they click on the Disneyland picture, it'll like a Disneyland ride will show up. Or if there's an ocean picture, she'll click on that. They'll click on that. It'll take them to like a video of just ocean backgrounds for like that play for 2 hours, so that they can like just listen to that while they're studying. And then there's other things like personality tests and whatnot that you can add to. So basically the Bitmoji Classroom is there's just a bunch of pictures on a slide, and you're just linking stuff to them. So yeah, so this in the teacher binder, so we went on rabbit hole. So if you go to the teacher binder, click on distance learning resources, Bitmoji Classroom templates will take you to this lady's site where there's a whole bunch that she's made, and you just got to add the links into it, whatever you want. Also in the teacher binder, we have a lot of videos on like how to do Google Slide backgrounds that I went over with you is available here. Alex and Wendy did a training on Google Slides. Let's see that. Is it here? Yeah. So their entire hour and a half or hour and 45 minutes presentation on how to do Google Classroom is in here. And if you click on show more, all the descriptions are timestamped. So let's say you want to learn about just how to do quizzes in Google Classroom. You just click on that and it'll jump right to that section of their training. So all this stuff is in the teacher binder. We go back. And there's just tons of stuff that we've made. Our substitute folders, I don't know if you guys really need that, but, and then all of our tip trainings are here as well. So all the stuff that we're covering in tip is available. The training we did last week should be here. It's in here, I just can't remember where I put it. Real quick. So,
lower, Chris, a little lower on the screen.
Lower?
Yeah, scroll lower. At the bottom right, white tab.
Oh.
Tip training.
Yeah, so these are the trainings we did with TIP, yeah, this year. So if you click on like we talked about distance learning perspectives in TIP this month. And if you click on that, it'll take you to this one as well. So anyway, so tons of stuff in the teacher binder we're trying to make. And if you guys have anything that you want to add to it, or you think this is a good resource, let myself, David, or James know, and we can just keep adding to this. So it's a cool resource for you guys, a cool resources all around. So we will see you next Friday. Please feel free to email me with any questions you might have. Pop on over. I have a tiny fridge in my office loaded with Dr. Pepper. Come say hi.
Thanks. Bye, everyone.
All right, adios. We will see you next week.